Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Mauritius confers its highest civilian award on India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's the first Indian leader to receive this honour. The US and Ukraine hold crunch talks at Jeddah in Saudi Arabia to repair their ties and find a path towards ending the 3-year-old conflict with Russia. More than 30 nations meet in Paris for talks on a security force for Ukraine. Trump envoy plans Moscow visit this week to meet Russia's president. Greenland votes in key parliamentary election as US President Donald Trump seeks control of the strategic Arctic island. All 31 seats up for grabs. And armed militants hijack a train in Balochistan, take 450 passengers, including Pakistani military personnel, hostage. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Mauritius on Tuesday, where he was awarded the country's top civilian honour. During the event, Prime Minister Modi announced the issuance of the Overseas Citizen of India cards to the Mauritian diaspora. The decision marked India's commitment to the diaspora and bilateral relations with Mauritius.
A grand evening at the Trianon Convention Centre in Mauritius turned even more special as Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended a cultural event celebrating the deep-rooted ties between India and Mauritius. The highlight of the evening, Mauritius conferring its highest civilian honour, the Grand Commander of the Order of the Star and Key of the Indian Ocean, upon India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. With this, PM Modi is the first Indian to receive this prestigious award, joining a select group of global leaders, including Nelson Mandela.
I should also announce to everybody here today that I've asked the President of the Republic to award to you, Sri Modi, the highest award that we have, Grand Commander of the Order of the Star. Grand Commander of the Order of the Star and Key of the Indian Ocean, very fitting for you, Prime Minister.
Humbly accepting the honour, PM Modi dedicated the award to the Indian diaspora in Mauritius.
ये भारत और मॉरिशस के ऐतिहासिक रिश्तों का सम्मान है। ये उन भारतीयों का सम्मान है जिन्होंने पीढ़ी दर पीढ़ी इस धरती की खूब सेवा की।
In a symbolic gesture of shared heritage, PM Modi handed over the Overseas Citizen of India cards, or the OCI cards, to PM Naveen Ramgoolam and his spouse Veena Ramgoolam. Notably, OCI eligibility has now been extended to the 7th generation of the Indian diaspora. Addressing the gathering, PM Modi emphasized the unwavering bilateral ties and described Mauritius as mini India.
For us, Mauritius is family. This bond is deep and strong, rooted in history, heritage, and the human spirit. Mauritius is also a bridge connecting India to the wider global south.
Strengthening the bond further, PM Modi reaffirmed India's commitments to Mauritius's development, highlighting key collaborative projects in infrastructure, healthcare, and digital transformation.
Mauritius, with large ocean territories, needs to secure its resources from illegal fishing, piracy, and crimes. As a trusted and reliable friend, India works with Mauritius to protect your national interests and secure the Indian Ocean region.
PM Modi's message was clear. India and Mauritius are not just partners, but family, bound by history, culture, and a shared vision for the future. With India playing a key role in Mauritius's growth through developmental projects, trade, and capacity building initiatives, the relationship stands as a model of deep mutual trust and cooperation. With Akshay Dongre, Bureau Report, DD India.
Now, India and Mauritius, two nations bound by history, culture and deep-rooted ties, ushered in a new era of friendship as Prime Minister Narendra Modi landed in Port Louis. A grand ceremonial welcome, cultural performances and high-level meetings marked this significant visit. Akshay Dongre and Tripti Tripathi report.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi touched down at Port Louis to a grand reception received personally by his Mauritian counterpart, Dr. Naveen Chandra Ramgulam. A ceremonial guard of honor was accorded to him. Adding to the celebratory spirit, over 200 dignitaries gathered at the airport, reflecting the deep-rooted bond between the two democracies. A special moment unfolded as the Indian diaspora welcomed PM Modi with the traditional Bihari Geet Gawai performance, a folk art that symbolizes the cultural heritage of Indian migrants in Mauritius. The visit continued to the historic Sivu Sagar Ramgulam Botanical Garden, where PM Modi and PM Ramgulam paid tribute to two towering leaders of Mauritius, Sivu Sagar Ramgulam and Anirudh Jagannath, for their immense contributions to the nation's progress. In a symbolic gesture, PM Modi planted a bale sapling under the Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam initiative, an effort to honor mothers by promoting environmental conservation. This marks yet another step in his global greening mission. At the State House, Prime Minister Modi met Mauritian President Dharambir Gokul, where the two leaders discussed ways to deepen bilateral ties. PM Modi gifted the holy Sangam water from Mahakumbh and Bihar's nutritious superfood makhana to the Mauritian president. A touch of Indian elegance was added with the traditional Banarasi sari gifted to the First Lady of Mauritius. PM Modi also visited the Ayurvedic garden, a testament to India-Mauritius collaboration in traditional medicine. This initiative strengthened ties in the field of holistic healing, reinforcing a shared commitment to preserving ancient knowledge. From cultural heritage to strategic partnerships, PM Modi's visit to Mauritius reaffirmed the deep-rooted connection between the two nations. With Akshay Dongre, Tripti Tripathi's report for DD India.
Prime Minister Modi also attended a banquet hosted by his Mauritian counterpart Naveen Ramgulam. The Prime Minister said that the partnership between India and Mauritius is not just limited to historical ties, but is also based on shared values and trust. He added that the two countries have always stood by each other like a family in challenging times. An important moment in the Russia-Ukraine war as top US and Ukrainian officials engaged in talks in Saudi Arabia. With hopes for a ceasefire and renewed military support for Ukraine, the stakes remain high. But on the ground, tensions escalate with major Ukrainian drone strikes on Moscow and fierce battles in Kursk. Will diplomacy prevail or will the conflict intensify? DD India's Meher Makuri has more.
Will the ongoing diplomatic engagements in Riyadh mark the end of hostility between Russia and Ukraine? Will Zelensky be able to get back Ukraine's captured territories from Russia, or will Putin integrate parts of Ukraine with Russia? Tuesday marked a pivotal moment in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine as top US and Ukrainian officials held talks in Saudi Arabia, aiming to chart a path toward ending the war with Russia. The summit took place just days after the explosive Trump-Zelensky meeting at the White House, raising hopes for a breakthrough.
You didn't have our military equipment.
At the talks, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Ukraine's foreign minister were present. Ukraine is hoping its proposed partial ceasefire offer will convince Washington to resume military aid, intelligence sharing, and satellite imagery support, which was suspended following the fallout from the Trump-Zelensky clash. President Zelensky, who met Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on Tuesday, is optimistic that the Jeddah summit will help revive pragmatic ties with the US. He has suggested a potential initial truce with Russia, particularly focused on the air and maritime zones. Meanwhile, Kiev is ramping up its efforts to pressure Russia into agreeing to an air ceasefire. On Tuesday, Ukrainian forces launched their largest drone strike to date on Moscow, deploying at around 91 drones. The attack killed at least 3 people, sparked fires, shut down airports, and diverted dozens of flights. Moscow reported downing 337 drones across various locations in Russia.
The largest drone attack in history was carried out on Moscow and the Moscow region. The drone raid, all night and into the morning, including strikes on the Diaghilevo airfield and beyond, is an additional signal to Putin that the ceasefire from the air is something he should be interested in. Not only at the refineries, but drones can fly around Moscow on a regular basis.
On the battlefield, Ukraine's forces are under increasing pressure, particularly in the Russia's Kursk region. Moscow's forces claim to have retaken a dozen settlements in western Kursk and saw the Russian chief of staff visit the area to boost morale among the troops. This is part of Russia's renewed push to flush out Kiev's forces, who had been holding strategic ground as a potential bargaining chip. As the talks in Jeddah unfold, the question remains, how significant will this meeting be in the broader pursuit of peace? Only time will tell. Mihir Makri's report for DD India.
In a major escalation of conflict in Balochistan, separatists attacked a Peshawar-bound train on Tuesday, taking nearly 450 passengers hostage. The attack was immediately claimed by the Baloch Liberation Army, which is fighting for independence, and it accuses outsiders of profiting from the region's wealth. The militants wounded the driver and took control of the train in a remote mountainous area of Balochistan, which borders Afghanistan and Iran. According to a senior railway government official in Quetta, more than 450 passengers on board are being held hostage. At least 6 military personnel were killed. Reports also suggest that intense firing is going on at the Jafar Express train. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Ukraine attacks Russia's capital Moscow with drones, kills 3. Kurdish militia sign a peace deal with the interim government of Syria. And former Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte arrested on an international warrant.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
What is more important, fixing the present or planning for the future? Innovators across the globe rethinking the way we live to secure a better future for us.
I found out about the Rahi trade-in scheme. I went to the agency and discovered that I could receive a subsidy for this e-rickshaw.
We basically mirror that same process, but instead of water for one of our solutions, we use blocks, powering about 35,000 homes.
Our goal is to send a message that it's important to fight for better urban air quality, and I think Liquid 3 sends that message.
We prepare fish amino acid by mixing the fish waste with jaggery. It is also an excellent organic fertilizer for plants and trees.
We're moving from the lab stage to industrial scale production.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Military chiefs from many European and NATO countries gathered in Paris on Tuesday to create an international security force for Ukraine. The move comes as US President Donald Trump upends the transatlantic alliance and seeks rapprochement with Russia. The Paris talks centered on the necessary rearmament of Europe and military support for Ukraine. The Dutch Defense Minister called for the removal of European and national legislations that restrict military growth.
The United States has made it clear that its support for Ukraine is no longer a given. And Europe's decades-long reliance on the US cannot simply be taken for granted anymore. Instead, it must be earned. Europe, therefore, needs to fortify its security architecture. And we don't have much time to get this right. We only have one shot. And to be able to reinforce our resilience and to grow our militaries, to have civilians and military work side by side, and to be able to speed up our processes, we should take away any legislations that are standing in our way. Legislations that are currently standing in the way of growing our military.
Meanwhile, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called for a significant increase in European defense spending amid concerns over Russia and diminished US support. The Commission's plan aimed to mobilize 800 billion euros for defense, with loans for European producers to boost industry capacity. Von der Leyen urged Europe to enhance its defense autonomy to ensure peace and unity. She said the time of illusion is over and called the EU to take charge of its own defense.
The time of illusions is over now. Europe is called to take greater charge of its own defense, not in some distant future, but already today, not with incremental steps, but with the courage that the situation requires. We need a surge in European defense, and we need it now.
At least 3 people were killed in Moscow's southern suburbs after Ukraine struck Russia's capital with the largest drone attack on Monday. Moscow repelled the attack. It claimed to have shot down 337 drones. As many as 91 drones were intercepted near the capital city. Another 126 were downed in the Kursk region, which borders Ukraine. The attack came hours before a high-level meeting between US and Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia, where they discussed about the ongoing conflict with Russia. In historic developments, Syria's Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces agreed to integrate into the country's state institutions under a deal signed with interim President Ahmed al-Shara. The agreement marks a major step towards uniting the war-torn nation after more than a decade of conflict. Celebrations broke out in the cities of Damascus and Qamishli as citizens welcomed the accord. Here's more on the story.
Celebrations erupted in Syria's capital Damascus and the northeastern city of Qamishli after Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, or the SDF, signed an agreement with the interim government to integrate into Syria's state institutions. Crowds filled the streets, chanting slogans of unity as the deal marked a major step towards stabilizing the war-torn country.
The people needed an agreement like this. The world is tired of displacement and war. So we are happy with the agreement because it will bring peace to a new democratic Syria.
The agreement signed by interim President Ahmed al-Shara and SDF commander Mazloum Abdi formally ends years of Kurdish self-administration in the northeast. Under the accord, all civilian and military institutions in SDF-held areas will come under the Syrian state, restoring government control over key border crossings, airports, and vital oil and gas fields. The deal is part of Shara's broader effort to unify the country following the overthrow of former President Bashar al-Assad in December. Since taking power, Syria's new administration has faced challenges from pro-Assad loyalists and also foreign-backed insurgencies, along with sporadic violence threatening national stability. The recent surge in violence has been particularly severe in western Syria, where pro-Assad militias clashed with government forces. Reports suggest over 1,000 civilians, mostly from the Alawite minority, have been killed in this unrest. The agreement also has significant geopolitical implications. Turkey, which has long opposed the SDF due to its ties with the Kurdish YPG militia, may view the deal as a threat. Ankara previously conducted cross-border operations against Kurdish fighters and continues to support armed groups in northern Syria that frequently clash with the SDF forces. Despite these concerns, the deal is being hailed as a crucial step in Syria's post-war transition. By bringing the SDF under state control, the government hopes to consolidate power and move toward long-term stability. However, the success of this integration will depend on how regional actors, particularly Turkey and the remaining pro-Assad factions, respond in the coming weeks. Nancy Baloda's report for DD India.
The former Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte was on a plane bound for The Hague in the Netherlands following his arrest on Tuesday. Duterte was arrested from the Manila airport on an International Criminal Court warrant over his deadly war on drugs. He's been investigated by the ICC over his brutal anti-drugs crackdown during his time in office that killed more than 6,000 people. Human rights groups claim that police and vigilantes kill unarmed drug suspects on a massive scale on Duterte's watch. The ICC has said that it would pursue an investigation of suspected crimes against humanity. Greenland, the world's largest island with a population of just 57,000, is holding polls which are being watched the world over after US President Donald Trump vowed to seize the Danish territory. Trump's rhetoric has also intensified the island's independence debate.
Amid US President Donald Trump's continued push to take control of Greenland, the mineral-rich Arctic island is voting in an election being watched world over. An autonomous territory of Denmark, Greenland geographically lies in North America. The parliament has only 31 seats and a total of 5 parties are contesting, and all the parties have rejected Trump's stand on the island.
So if he wants to have more cooperation with Greenland, then he must talk to us. But how he talks, I will say, you don't talk to friends like that.
Greenland has a population of just 57,000. Out of that, over 40,000 are eligible to vote. Trump's pledge has intensified the debate over its independence from Denmark and has also become a major poll issue.
I'm feeling very excited, I'm very happy, and I am celebrating the Democracy Day today to make a difference and to make Greenland strong and independent.
A former colony of Denmark, Greenland has been its territory since 1953. It gained some autonomy in 1979 when its first parliament was formed. But Copenhagen still controls foreign affairs, defense, and monetary policy and provides just under $1 billion a year to the economy. In 2009, it won the right to declare full independence through a referendum, though has not done so over concerns that living standards would drop without Denmark's economic support. A January poll showed that a majority of Greenland residents supported independence but are divided on the timing. As for Trump, he initially declined to rule out military force but later softened his stance, saying that the island will receive billions of dollars in investment if they join the US. While Denmark has said that Greenland is not for sale and its future will be decided by the locals. Greenland's natural resources include rare earth minerals which are used in high-tech industries ranging from electric vehicles to missile systems. But extraction has been very limited due to environmental concerns. Bureau Report, DD India.
And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.